Division I girls soccer action from downtown Cleveland from the west side tonight. Two perennial powers going head-to-head as we've got Magnificat checking in at 2-3-3 from Rocky River, going head-to-head with Hathaway Brown at 2-3 overall. Folks, thanks so much for joining us here on the fabulous campus of St. Ignatius High School here at Wasmer Field. My name is Brian Skronsky, joined tonight by Travis Berardi, and we get to see a couple of, big-time programs going head-to-head tonight, Travis. Magnificat not having the type of season that they are used to having, but still plenty of talent out here, and they are battle-tested. They play a lot of tough competition.
We're used to watching Division II, Division III soccer. This is Division I, so they might be 2-3-3 and 2-3, but those are against Division I perennial powers that have gone to regionals and state tournaments year in and year out. So this is high-quality soccer that we're about to see. And
you can say the football. That's okay.
Football, yeah, the football.
Yeah, Magnificat, as I mentioned, just the 2 wins. But, man, when you look at some of the competition that they have played here on the season, the likes of Brunswick, Medina, who I believe is still undefeated, Perrysburg, Midview, Notre Dame, St. Joe's, North Ridgeville. I mean, the list goes on, and it doesn't get any easier as it goes on. Like we were discussing, Travis, before we honored America there, I mean, certainly Magnificat comes in battle-tested, and then Hathaway Brown, you look at a Blazers team that had to miss out on the first couple of weeks of the season because of a couple of positive COVID tests, so they are just starting to get into the bulk of their season. I believe this is their 6th match in about 10 days, and again, all top-level opponents, and they'll travel pretty much everywhere. And
their head coach before the match talking to us said every game they're starting to get better, and I believe in their last match they were down 4-1, came back and ended up winning 5-4. So getting back into that soccer playing style, and that was Wadsworth that they defeated 5-4, and then they fell to Avon 3-1. But Avon, one of those other perennial powers in Division I.
It is senior night tonight for Magnificat. 6 seniors on the roster, including some of the top players. Let's go ahead and meet the starters tonight for the Blue Streaks, who are going to be led by Cassidy Nelson. She's one of the top goal scorers on the team. Look for also Julia Cure to be a big difference maker, very mobile, got great foot skills. And Molly Luspica, she's coming on as of late, said their head coach, who was a very interesting conversation. A great person to talk to. Tibi Regali is his name, from Hungary. Former professional soccer player, he said, in his native land.
Yeah, and he said he came over to the great city of Cleveland, Ohio, where he coached. He had another coaching stint, which actually was Hathaway Brown's arch rival before coming to Magnificat.
Let's check out Hathaway Brown's roster as well. A lot of hard workers. Talented senior class, their coach said, and a strong junior class that's starting to come on as the season continues to roll. Their keeper, Celia Bullock, is the stud to keep an eye on in between the pipes there. And then Katrina Santelli leading the way with 6 total goals as we are underway here on the west side of Cleveland. And with that ball rolling out of play in the first few seconds.
And we were looking at that Magnificat roster. I believe you said 6 seniors, but most of their goal scorers, their main players, underclassmen. So, yes, they will be graduating some key contributors, but their main cog of the team will be back next year.
Here come the Blue Streaks. Looking to press it down the far sideline. This is Kay Lavelli. Tried to hook up with Cure.
Hathaway Brown, the 4 defenders back, though, really blocked that cross attempt, gives them possession.
See Hathaway Brown start in a 4-2-3-1, and then they'll look to adjust depending on what the opponent is trying to do in terms of their offensive attack. So I always like coaches saying that they're not going to stick with one thing. The fact that they will adjust to what their opponent is doing lets you know that Matt Safar knows what he's doing. And
that's a good defense to start. You get 4 back, but you know, maybe if you're the middle of your defense is doing better, you move that one up. Maybe get another attacker up. But to start off, you know, your 4 defenders back there gives you a solid start, and then you go from there.
Throwing coming up for Hathaway Brown. Claire Radke.
She'll get another throw in here.
Still in the first couple of minutes, both teams looking to fill each other out. Now Magnificat, or Mags, as pretty much everybody out here locally likes to refer to them as. Reversing the field. Trying to work it up the near sideline. Nelson presses to the middle, and there's a turnover. Nobody really home there as Bridget Kennedy gets the ball back for Hathaway.
That's going to be kicked back to the keeper to reset.
Kennedy gets pressured, and now she turns it over. Molly Waters from the midfield. Tried to send a through ball. It's deflected. Waters with plenty of space.
So both squads just feeling each other out right now.
A lot of times, yeah, you'll see that for about probably the first 8-10 minutes of the match. Nobody really wants to make the early mistake. Soccer is just, it's such a fragile sport where, I mean, you can play so well, but one little miscue can lead to somebody coming back the other way.
Yeah, you just get one ball that luckily goes through the defense to a forward down the side, a cross that might go through a couple legs. You know, just one lucky break could completely change the complexion of a match.
So far, no shots accumulated through about the first 4 minutes of action here.
I just love this setting. Downtown Cleveland, you have, you know, the buildings and everything around here. We're used to playing pretty much just high school and some farmland and stuff like that, but coming up to Cleveland, it's a nice atmosphere to watch a soccer match.
Just a 7-minute drive from downtown over the bridge.
You can see the lights from Progressive Field off in the distance.
Indians, of course, playing a big game against the White Sox tonight.
I think that game's tied at 1 early on.
And that was the first penetration that we've seen from either side into the 18.
Yeah, Hathaway Brown really hasn't had an offensive possession yet to start. It's been mostly the Mags.
Now with the throw in for the Blazers on the far side. Look to press forward a little bit, but as you mentioned, keeping 4 defenders back. Nice speed there by Cure. But we've seen a fair bit of sloppy play here in the early going. quite a few turnovers. That's a nice run right there. Set up the shot, sails wide into the hands of Bullock. So our first shot on net taken by the Blue Streaks. Throwing coming up here for Anna Smith. There's a nice throw too, looking for Cure.
That was a nice job of fending off at the offensive player, letting the ball roll out of bounds for the goal kick.
Yeah, Margaret Lux just shielding off the offensive player, not letting her get any penetration to get to the ball. Now here comes Hathaway Brown. Connected on a couple of passes. Now they just send this one looking to reverse the field. As Schilf gets the first touch. Try to just punch it down the sideline, and that's out of play. And you can kind of tell this Hathaway Brown team has only been playing for about 10 days. They do look like they're still kind of trying to find themselves out there,
Get that rust off, yeah, from the – I mean, they're practicing preseason, and then you're literally out for 2 weeks of nothing. So it's going to take them a few games to get back. They do have a couple victories. But, you know, I mean, early on right here, they're good on defense. They're keeping the shots down by the Mags. But that offense, not quite there yet, but finally they are in the offensive zone for the first time tonight.
See if they can keep it down there. They've got the throw-in coming up on the far side. Claire Radke.
This is the first real time we'll see the defenders of the Mags play in this match since they've had possession for most of the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, you saw Taylor Chavette try to pull a fast one, get up there quickly, and get the throw in. But it should be Magnificat's throw, and it will be. This one punched out, so Santelli looking to make a play, 1-on-2, as the defender lost their footing. And now Kennedy sends one just over the top. And that's the first shot attempt tonight for Hathaway Brown. You saw she got some pretty good velocity on it, Travis. Just wasn't able to keep it down, hit it a little bit too high on the laces.
Yeah, she just got under it a little too much. Would have been good if this was American football.
Just something we got to see out here. We arrived pretty early today. St. Ignatius football team practices out here, so that was cool to see what one of the top programs in the entire state out here getting in some work. Some of the drills that they were doing are certainly stuff that I don't see our local teams doing, so you can tell this at a little bit different level.
Yeah, I'm just jealous. They got to play right up on the lake where the Browns play against St. Ed's. They didn't win that game, but still to play in an NFL stadium is pretty cool.
I believe next coming up for them, you said Massillon, Washington?
Yes,
so it never gets easy for them. Always testing themselves. As you should when you're a Division I program. Like we talked about these two teams. When you're from places like Rocky River and Shaker Heights, you got to kind of branch yourself out there and see what's waiting in like a Toledo or a Cincinnati. And that's what I really enjoyed our conversation with Coach Regoli talking about that is, hey, how do we know what we're going to be up against when we get into tournament if we do not travel to Toledo and places like that?
Exactly, and he said this is a kind of a joke for us. I asked the girls, do we want to go 16-0 and lose in the first round of the tournament, or do we want to go 8-8 against really good squads? As a clean tackle there by the Mags, they get the
Anna
ball
Bader.
back.
That was smooth.
Or do you want to go 8-8 against really good squads and make it to regional, make it to state?
And he said everybody on the team raise their hand for that regional berth. Bader now lays it back to the keeper. We'll take another look at her great tackle there moments ago. Check this out.
Got the ball first. That was really good.
Textbook.
And now you're seeing Hathaway Brown. They're getting a little more comfortable. They're pushing it ahead on the pitch here. That'll go to the Mags for a throw-in.
Now just punched out by Hathaway Brown. And here comes Kennedy, and boy, you can tell she's a top-level athlete. Definitely got long strides, good speed, and that's a tough tackle there by Bader.
Yeah, she is very good speed in the open field. She got past that first line, but then just coming in.
I mean, she did get the ball first, but then she got a whole lot of leg afterwards.
Yeah. Now we're going to have a free kick for Hathaway Brown.
Yeah, I believe this is our first set piece here of the night. It's going to be Mary Lux handling, the senior. She sends it into the box. Battle for a big clump of players there. By my count, that was 10 players in the box. 6 in blue, 4 in white.
That was a good job by Keely Costas, because the Mags looked like they were going to be on a break out there. She was able to get the ball at least back into the Hathaway Brown offensive zone.
Now, Blazers got to backtrack, reverse in field. Here comes the captain, Lux. Now they're starting to find feet a little bit more. You can tell that the comfort is starting to set in for the Blazers. Starting to find themselves. Here comes Kennedy with a chance. She's got the shot.
Oh, what a save.
And how about the senior keeper in net making a big play right there.
Great hand-eye coordination on that. That was coming like a rocket. And Bullock just able. Correction, that wasn't Bullock. That was
Anna Oster.
The other goalie. Just able to get that hand up, push it up over the net. We're going to have a corner kick here.
Sent in, going back post. Dangerous play.
Just mishit on the header.
Looked like Santelli there was able to get a little piece of it, just wasn't able to direct it. And quickly, here comes the Mags off the goal kick. Looking to press forward. Nice foot skills there by Nelson. Santelli gets pressured there, and the turnover. She was trying to find Schoaf down the far sideline, the sophomore.
And this is a complete 180 of the start of the match. It looked like the Mags had all the offensive possession, but now, you know, Hathaway Brown, like we said, they're getting more comfortable, and now they're applying the pressure on the other end, and it's now Magnificat that's on their heels a little bit.
Just over 13 minutes gone by here in the opening half. No score, of course. We've seen limited offensive possessions here, but here's a good one, but just being called for offsides was Claire Bullock. That could have been a huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, she just got ahead of it.
Santelli very active up top. Applying a lot of pressure to the defense. See how much stamina she has if she has to get a breather every now and again. As much field as she's covering out there.
Radke with the throw-in.
Now Santelli turns it over. Yeah, stepping in the passing lane that time was Bullock.
Chauvet with a good defensive stand there, getting the ball back.
And that's a great pass there by Santelli out to the wing, Morgan.
The pass just behind Lavelle turned over.
Yeah, they just missed on that one. They had a great counterattack that was starting to develop, and just inches away as Santelli might have a chance here. Was looking for somebody to be out on the wing, nobody home for.
Yeah, she had the right idea. It was just Hathaway Brown was backed up due to that almost attack by Magnificat. And the Mags with a throw-in.
And they'll make a substitution.
About 15 minutes gone by here this first half.
And Anna Bader is the fresh body back into the match for the girls in blue. Nice shot there of Tower City. As mentioned, we're just a short drive from downtown, just over the bridge here.
I know we had a chance before the match to walk around downtown Cleveland. It's just, it's an awesome city.
Yeah, I like how compact it is with the lake right there. So, I've been coming up here since I moved to Ohio about 14 years ago. I feel like I know my way around quite a bit now. So, fun place to come. I believe this is my first time covering a game involving local teams around this area, though.
Yeah,
in my long career.
We've been up here for, our local teams back in North Central Ohio. The Mansfield area have played up here for regional football, state soccer, stuff like that. But having two powerhouse Cleveland teams to actually be calling a game for, it's pretty exciting for us. That'll be played back to the keeper.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to, I guess, the Parents Club for Magnificat, actually, is who came together. Laura Ostrander is who contacted me, so appreciate them for, giving OH Report the call.
Yeah, and this was pretty lucky on their account because every day except for today, we have local stuff. Magnificat got it.
On the board, Kay Lavelli. So the senior on senior night strikes first. Goal Blue Streaks. They set that thing up beautifully, Trav, and she was just onside.
Just onside. Took a couple dribbles, brought the goalie out, and then put it into the right side of the net. And the Blue Streaks strike first at the 23-13 mark.
Magnificat goal by Kay Lavelle.
So Lavelle gets him on the board. And now playing in front for Magnificat. They've trailed a lot throughout the season, Trav, so this is going to be kind of a rare experience for them. And a team that has really struggled to score the soccer ball. You're talking they're averaging only 0.6 goals per contest, though they play great defense. They allow just over a goal per match. So they're battling. They're in just about every game. It's just that they found offense hard to come by. So I think this is a big one for them to get up and get the lead here first.
Definitely, and I know we were saying earlier they'd rather go 8-8 and make a deep run in the tournament, and this is the time for them to, against solid quality opponents, to try and get that offensive going because you have a good defense. Now you're trying a couple things around to see if you can get one of your players open, some type of set that'll get you to work. So something like this, it's something that they'll remember and they'll build on down the line.
And we'll see now if Hathaway Brown can answer. Another team that's had trouble scoring throughout the season. Only shut out once, though. That in their season opener against Twinsburg, who was a great team.
And they're starting to get some chances here in this one. So we have a corner for Hathaway Brown.
It's going to be Abby Morgan handling the duties.
So they were on the other end. They went back post. Let's see if they try that again this time.
5 players outside the 18. They all come crashing in.
This time the front post.
And how about
that
the
go?
header? Bridget Kennedy, I thought was going to
go.
put it in. Oh, and then a great save. So how about Ostrander in net, keeping them clean?
Wow.
I thought for sure that Kennedy was going to put that one in from my vantage point up here.
It looked like the defender right on the line as you see the replay here. I mean, that's as close as it'll get to not being a goal.
So Morgan, incredible placement. And you see Kennedy flies in, gets the header.
And she was at the right place at the right time. She was standing there on the back post.
So actually it wasn't Ostrander who was able to get to it. It was the defender. I think that was Anna Smith that was standing in that post right there. And like you said, just perfect placement. Couldn't have been standing anywhere better.
And Hathaway Brown with another chance. So let's see what they went back post the first time. They're going front post this time. It almost worked, so let's see if they try that front post shot at the corner again.
Low light dry him this time.
So unable to get the shot on goal, but they do retain possession off of the corner.
Trying to stay on the attack with the cross. And it's into a host of Magnificat players. Now Ostrander there to gobble it up. Barking out some orders. He's got a nice high punt. It's going to bounce right around midfield. So 50-50 ball. Who's going to win possession here?
And it will be the Mags because they will have a throw-in.
And sometimes this is valuable right here just to be able to get out of your territory and flip the field so now they can start getting on the offensive.
And on the other side for Hathaway Brown, kicking that out of bounds, it's the smart play. It allows your defenders to get back, get set up.
Smith looking for the big throw-in. Loads up. Puts it into the box, but into the hands here of Hathaway Brown.
Ooh.
Big deflection that time. Giving up the body was Julia Walton.
Mags will retain possession here. Oh, nice move. That was Lavelle who scored the first goal in the match here. And it looks like they will get a free kick. So just past the midway point here of the first half. Lady Blue Streaks lead 1-0.
And here's Lavelle. That's knocked out by a charging Lux. And now they've got a good counterattack possibility here going. Big collision. And Santelli runs right through it. She's got a 1-on-3. Looking to make something happen.
Now she does have somebody down the right side, gets it to her, kicks it back to the left side. She's got a chance.
Here's Morgan. Sets it up for the right foot. Kicks it with the left, though.
That was solid defense by Anna Smith, causing her to kick it with her weaker leg and not get a solid shot on net.
You see Santelli, I mean, a big, strong athlete. She just went right through the defender, who you see there is clearly shaken up quite a bit.
And it was a clean play, both of them going for the ball. Sometimes those run-intos really just, they're clean plays.
Yeah, it's part of the game. That's Waters who was shaken up, and she was running back towards Santelli. I thought she was going to say something to her. Instead, she's going to check out. Caitlin McNally into the contest for her.
Collision is the word I was looking for there.
You don't typically think of soccer as a collision sport, but sometimes, like you saw right there, when two kids are charging for the ball at full speed.
Ostrander boots that. Crossed midfield.
Now here comes Lavelle. Pushes it down the far sideline. Magnificat looking to get on the offensive. Kerr sets it back up for the right, but then she got double teamed and gives it away.
Back into the hands of Santelli. Nice job there by Dever to get it away from her.
And then draws the whistle. So now Magnificat can send pretty much everybody up offensively. Ostrander even coming out to about the football 25-yard line. Off the free kick, this one played low. Punched out, this one probably going to stay in bounds.
Just can't get to it, however.
Good hustle there by Claire. but couldn't make it happen, so a throw-in coming up.
Another substitution for the Lady Blue Streaks.
And you see very few substitutions so far for the Blazers, and that's something that Coach Safar was telling us about. He said, hey, our girls better be prepared to play pretty much the bulk majority of the match. We don't have a ton of depth right now at this point, and so far, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, they only have, I believe on the varsity roster, only two sophomores that are substitutions. So, you know, just take with what you have, apparently.
That one broken up as the Mags starting to put it together here, keeping it down in their offensive attacking third.
That'll be a goal kick. So after the first 10 minutes, Brian, both teams now getting some quality offensive chances.
Yeah, things are starting to loosen up a little bit, as this could be a potential dangerous opportunity here for the Mags.
Got the through ball.
And then I like the idea there of just pushing it into the box and, you know, just seeing what happens. But a good play by Bullock to come diving in and collect the rock.
Yeah, you never know. She could misplay that. It could bounce away and be an open net. Here's the replay. Just slides in time. I don't know which offensive player from Magnificat, but she had the ups to avoid tripping over Bullock.
And I think it's pretty obvious so far from what we've seen as, you know, over or about 30 minutes gone by here that Magnificat has more playmakers than Hathaway Brown does, but Hathaway Brown probably has the top athlete out there in Santelli who, as mentioned, she's got 6 of their 9 total goals on the season, so she's the go-to playmaker for them. But Blue Streaks, they can work it around a little bit more. They got a few variety of weapons, even though scoring, as mentioned, has been a problem for them. But I do like some of the talent that we've seen out here.
You might see with Santelli, she'll use her speed to try and do it herself, but with Magnificat, it's more of a finesse game, just passing, trying to get the open person, trying to get that open shot.
Blazers can't clear. So Bullock pushes it out. Smith.
That's going to be deflected off of Hathaway Brown. That'll be a corner.
And that's a heady play. You know, you see that a lot in soccer, particularly I'd say girls soccer, where just looking to set up the corner kick, you'll just boot it as hard as you can right off the defender, get the deflection. And that's what we're seeing here. It'll be Bullock with the corner kick honors. She sends
Back
to
post.
the middle.
Oh, just wide.
Nice setup. Good delivery. One more look here. Bam. Flying in for the header, I think, is McNally there.
Yeah, that'll be a foul on Hathaway Brown.
Yeah, going against Costos. Aggressive play.
Extended the arm, pushed down, kind of like an offensive pass interference call in the NFL. You can't extend the arm, push somebody.
But had she been able to get away with that one, she had about a 2-on-2. Instead, it's going to be a free kick here for Magnificat. And the Blazers having all sorts of trouble getting it out of their end here of late as Bullock takes a tumble.
It feels like it's been back and forth on the offensive possessions, and it hasn't been one team with one chance and then back to the other end. It's been Magnificat taking the first 5-6 minutes and then Hathaway Brown on the other end taking the next 5-6 minutes.
I like the Blazers being patient here, not forcing anything at the moment. As Smith looking to make a move.
It's out of bounds.
Just out of bounds.
Coming up on 10 minutes remaining here in half number 1.
Senior night here for Magnificat, honoring 6 players tonight.
And Kay Laval, one of those, scoring with 23 minutes 13 seconds left here in this first half to give Magnificat the 1-0 lead.
Had a chance to go down on the field. I got a few pictures on our Instagram account as well as our Facebook if you want to see the pregame festivities.
You got to hand it to the Magnificat players as well.
Oh, well, I'm
No
kind of
foul
surprised
there.
I didn't draw a whistle, and so this is going to create an opportunity here coming the other way for the Blazers.
Nice move by Santelli. Can she get to it? Nope.
And that's a heady play there by Bader to send it back to the keeper, Ostrander. I don't think a lot of players would think to do that. And it worked out, at least for now. Santelli got a good, clean right foot on it, but just couldn't keep it down again. That's twice now that she's had opportunities very similar. Doesn't appear to be frustrated, though. She knows that would have been a tough shot attempt.
And it kind of reminds me of a player that we covered down in the Mansfield area, Taylor Huff from Madison Comprehensive Division II squad. She gets a very large majority of shots on net, but most of them they're going to go over the net, they're going to go wide, but she stays composed and just gets ready for the next shot.
The defending Division II player of the year is Huff.
All-American.
And that's a team that I think, at least this season, still undefeated, ranked number 1 in Division II, probably could come up here and definitely be on the field with either of these two teams here tonight. Very talented.
It'd be a very good match here on this pitch.
Magnificat looking to get the ball out of their end. But Hathaway Brown staying with it, trying to feed it to Santelli.
And that time she had 3 defenders around her, so it was a nice job by Mags to keep her from getting open.
Nice carry here by Laspiza. And now gets it to Smith, who had it deflected out.
That one just by our cameras down on the field.
Hopefully the boss has insurance on those just in case.
I'll ask him when I get back down to Mansfield. I'll say you did it, though.
So Smith with the throw. Flick forward off the header, but out of play. So time starting to wind down here on this first half. Hathaway Brown trailing by 1 with possession.
Looked like a handball, and they did call it.
So this should be a chance here for the Blazers to get something set up. Though keeping 4 defenders back, as Magnificat got all 11 players playing defense there, and they come away with the ball.
And that's something you can do with a 1-0 lead, especially late in the first half. Maybe sometimes you just want to sit on that 1-0 lead, go into the half, regroup, and then, reset your offensive scheme.
Kennedy being pressured, has to lay it off. Now some space here in the middle.
Well, that was a nice spin move there by Kennedy. But the Blue Streaks come out with the steal.
Looking to get on the counter attack.
And right back at you. That was Julia Cure with a nice spin.
They had something building there too. McCabe pushing it to the outside.
But it was offsides.
But you like the development of that play. 3 passes, all hidden feet. Had the action moving in their favor, but just offsides on that one.
And now you see both these squads just so close to getting breakaways. So you have the feeling of something's going to give here before the half.
Here's the Mags far sideline. Blazers looking to clear.
Ooh. Clean play there. Blue Streaks with the chance here. Can he get the cross? Deflected out, so they're going to get a corner.
So with 5 minutes to go here, set piece coming up for the Streaks.
It'll be their second of the match. Hathaway Brown already with 3 corners. So it's going to be on the opposite side of their first one, but what we saw was a header chance just wide. That ball traveled towards the middle of the net, so we'll see if they have a copy of that or if they try for one of the posts.
Off the feed from McNally, back post, flies over the keeper.
Cross back over.
Smith didn't have anybody there, but I like the idea. Now a chance for Santelli. Make something happen. She's got the ball on a 1-on-4. Makes the first 2 girls miss.
That's a foul. One way to stop her is to pretty much stand in front of her and run into her, but...
Well, that's right. I mean, I've seen in a lot of soccer matches throughout this season, all it is a whistle, and then you get your defense back. Like you had mentioned earlier in the match, sometimes it's not the worst thing to allow a free kick like that.
And if it's a collision like that, nothing severe, it's a good play for Dever. Like you said, it allows her defense to set up, and the free kick's coming from about midfield, so it's not that lethal.
So a throw-in coming up for the Streaks deep in their own territory. We'll see if Hathaway Brown elects to get aggressive here. Still playing with 3 deep defenders.
We have a substitution finally for Hathaway Brown.
So a fresh body checks in. And off the cross, Morgan flicked it way up. Ostrander goes up and high points it.
Watch the replay here.
So you see this is a nice cross here by Kennedy. Morgan able to get there to it. But again, can't keep it down. Floats it way up in the air. Ostrander rises, pulls it down.
Now the Mags with a chance.
Charvet,
nice move.
Yeah, sets it up for the left foot.
And that's going to be corner. Well, if we could talk about Ostrander there for a second. She had two Hathaway Brown offensive players coming at her. She held her ground, too, as well. She said maybe somebody's going to run me over here, but I'm at least going to grab this and keep Hathaway Brown from getting the scoring chance.
Yeah, and she's a physical specimen. I'd seen her on the field before the game. You know, she's got some pretty good size to her, so not giving in with 2 defenders around her, able to use the strength, pull it down.
Anna Smith with the corner.
She's done a nice job with these corners in the back post.
Oh,
ricochets just off the crossbar. Man, you can't get any closer than that. Caitlin McNally narrowly headed that thing in perfectly.
About 6 inches to the right, and that's a goal.
Again, beautiful setup here.
Oh,
just
crossbar.
Off the crossbar. Man, that was close.
This could be easily a 3-0 match right now.
So Hathaway Brown lucky just to be trailing 1-0.
And you know what? If you can hold it to this going into the break, that's a win.
Yeah, I think certainly they got to feel good about themselves going in down just 1. And on the flip side, if you're Magnificat, boy, as much as you've struggled scoring throughout the year, you got to have some smiles on your faces too, as many great opportunities as you've put together. But Hathaway Brown and the Blazers don't want to go into the half trailing, trying to find that equalizer here.
Yeah, they're going to have a throw in here about 25 yards away.
With 35 ticks, they get it in. Morgan off the cross has it headed out. Now Julia Cure off to the races, showing off some nice footwork, but broken up by the back line in Lux.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
That should do it here for the first half.
Yeah, Blue Streaks content just to take a 1-0 advantage into the break here on their senior night. You see the fans here in the stands. Happy to see Magnificat on top. Love the Fatheads too. So that will take us to the half with Magnificat on top, 1-0 over Hathaway Brown. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back. We'll break down the first half, check out some stats, get you ready for half number 2. You're watching soccer live and free from the west side of Cleveland on the OH Report. It's halftime here at Wasmer Field at St. Ignatius High School in the west side of Cleveland, where Magnificat leading right now 1-0 on top of Hathaway Brown And when you look at the overall stats, Travis, they're pretty close, just minus the scoreboard right now, where actually I feel like the Blue Streaks, and you talked about this at the end of the first half there, they probably should have at least 2 goals, right now only leading 1-0.
Yeah, both on the corner kicks as well. One header going wide of the net, and then another chance going off the crossbar right before the half, so it could be 3-0. But then on the other end for Hathaway Brown, they had a couple solid chances on the corner. One of the Magnificat defenders, her name slips my mind right now, just in the right place at the right time, right on the goal line, really kept it maybe inches from crossing that line, getting it out, and then a couple other solid chances. So, I mean, Magnificat, they really came off on fire to start the match, but then Hathaway Brown really calmed down, regrouped, got their offense going, and it's pretty much been back and forth ever since, other than that one goal.
Yeah, you could say that probably the biggest play of the match so far is when the defender was right there on the inside post where that corner kick sailed in. Beautiful header. Probably should have been a goal for the Blazers. Instead, it was an amazing defensive play.
And you got to give it to Coach Tibby, who's here in the baby blue to your on the right on your screen, pretty much drawing up that defensive set where they have one player on each post with the goalie in the middle just in case something like that happens. So that was drawn up perfectly for him defensively.
Also saw some nice bit of keeping from Anna Ostrander there in that first half. Had a couple of nice plays, good saves, and then good keeping on the other side for Bullock too. So I've liked what we've seen from both of them. And each side, once they settled into the match, they've developed some good offense. We've seen some solid defense. So I think it's been pretty competitive, man. It's been solid 40 minutes so far.
It's very entertaining 40 minutes. You're not having one team pretty much control the other team's offensive end for most of the match. It's back and forth. This is what we've been expecting coming up here to watch Division I soccer.
So far, I would say the standout player has got to have been Santelli in terms of the individual effort that she's been able to showcase, though shut out to this point, coming in with 6 goals on the match, or on the season. Lavelle with the only goal of the match up to this point. So that's where we're at right now, 40 minutes in, but we still have 40 more coming your way. We'll take one more timeout. We'll be back with half number 2. High school soccer live and free on the OH Report. Taking a look at the West Side Market right now.
Have you ever been there, Brian? I love that place.
I've been there 2 times, and it is a pretty cool spot. Just so many different selections. Like,
it kind of reminds me of like a
overwhelming.
New York, like a downtown market or something like that. It's just got that feel. It's a really cool place to be, especially on the weekends.
And then Tower City, of course, very famous in Cleveland. Been there many, many times. I always walk through there when I go to Cleveland Cavalier games. Keep me warm.
I think my favorite moment, though, is when we were at another job covering Game 7 of the 16 finals, and all the fans, Tower City lit up in, the Cavs colors, and everybody just pretty much celebrating around it. Great night.
We'll see if Magnificat can celebrate a win on senior night with a victory on top right now, 1-0 at the half. So you see Bridget Kennedy getting loosened up for Hathaway Brown. Try to be a difference maker here in the second half. And here come the Blazers with the rock to start. And that one punched out a play by Waters.
So Hathaway Brown going left to right now. White jerseys, blue lettering. Magnificat going right to left, blue jerseys, white lettering.
Opposites, you could say.
Exactly, Brian.
Here's Water looking to deliver it to the midfield, but broken up. Now a chance for Santelli.
Getting a little physical on that. The Blue Streak's able to kick it out.
Radke looking to handle the throw-in. Finds Santelli, who somehow keeps it in play. But now on the counter-attack, nice footwork showed off by Kerr. To the outside. Through ball, going to roll all the way into the hands of Bullock.
So that was the right idea, just a little too strong on that through ball. Julia Cure just couldn't get to it in time before Bullock could. We have a foul.
Whistle.
No offsides, actually.
I guess that will go against Julia Cure. Quickly on the restart. Back to the middle for the Blazers. Costas reversing field. Now to the feet of Radke. Now they send it back to the left side.
Just underway here, second half. Magnificat leading 1-0.
Hathaway Brown looking to cut into that. Costas finds Santelli. Sets up left foot.
What a save.
Diving stop there by Ostrander. Great build, though. I like the offense, and then they got it to their key playmaker. Got a good left foot on it, but Ostrander hits the deck, makes the save.
Just sacrificing her own body, stretching it out, getting the deflection, but it will be a corner for Hathaway Brown. Their 4th tonight.
And I love the intensity from the keeper. You see her, she gets up, she's barking out orders, she's telling people where to be. That's what you want to see from one of your senior captains and leaders.
Deflected back, so almost a second corner now for Hathaway.
Blazers do play it into the box. Like a whole swarm of bees in there, about 20 jerseys just all clumped together.
Ooh.
Breakaway chance, no whistle. Bit of a surprise. A lot of the fans here didn't like it either.
Yet we play on.
And here's Magnificat looking to flip the script. Here's a look at the tackle. And that looks like a lot of ankle to me, Trav, but
yeah.
Hey, I mean, the official's a lot closer than me. Their call always stands, so they're never wrong.
Ball played back again to Bullock.
Good hustle by Cure to force her to just boot that thing.
And I like how both defenses are utilizing their goalies, not only for other teams' offensive chances to stop, goal attempts, but to play it back to reset the offense.
Yeah, and they're typically the ones that are the managers of that back line. Like I had mentioned with Ostrander, telling people exactly where to be. So That's typically a smart play, and usually your keeper, one of the smartest players on the team, some of the best decision makers.
Lavelle wins that fight.
And that's got to be a handball, or yeah, it will be. So set piece coming up here for Magnificat from about the football 25-yard line. Bounces in the box, charging in, and a chance here.
Got it.
So 2-0. Oh, an offsides call. I missed it. I didn't see the official on the far side. Blew it dead. So here's one more look. And it does appear that Lavelle was just a bit offside. Otherwise, that would have been her second goal here of the match. And that could have been huge.
So Hathaway Brown dodges another bullet. 5 minutes here into the second half.
And it was tough to tell from that angle. I mean, it was pretty close. But like I said, the official's never wrong because their call always stands. So we'll wipe the goal off of the board. And it remains 1-0. But Magnificat still with possession. And McCabe on the throw, far or near side.
Although we did get to see the cool animation again. Who doesn't love fireworks?
Great question. Certainly in America. Waters pressured, had it taken away. Now on the turn, Cure sends it out wide. Lavelle on the cross.
This time they stay on sides.
This one into the box, the header, but into the hands of Bullock.
That was a good offensive set. Magnificat using the whole width of the field there, crossing it left and right, trying to set up the offense, and nearly got a goal there.
Walton got a pretty good header on it, but Bullock just in the right place, dead center of the net.
She's maybe 3 or 4 yards closer. That could be a goal.
Schoaf, one-on-one, sends it. Going to let Santelli try to run for it, but it rolls out of play over the back line, so goal kick coming up here for the Mags.
Both teams with one solid shot on goal here in the start of the second half.
And clearly they've both eased in because it was very slow at the beginning. The pace was to start this match, coming out firing here in half number 2. Winning the 50-50 ball is Radke. She's got Schoaf here, near side. On the cross, out of play.
Just didn't have the angle there on the cross. Kicked it behind the net.
Ostrander quickly on the restart. You see the hustle of Radke. Still pressuring. And now she's got the throw. So nothing materializes out of that for the Blazers. Though still deep in Blue Streak's territory with their throw-in. And you see just about every 50-50 ball right now being won by number 5 in the white jersey. Radke is just everywhere.
Yeah, she wants it more right now. She wants to give her team a chance to equalize this match, especially early on here in the second half, to give them the shot to maybe, after equalizing it, have some time to maybe take the lead and win it here.
Got to get a goal first, though. They'll have a nice opportunity here off the set piece.
Their 5th corner kick of the night. And they've come close a couple times off of them.
Here's Morgan to the middle. Headed out wide. That went off the Delma Kennedy.
And they're going to get another.
Castellanos tried to make the turn, pressured by Dever, who had to push it out of play. So another good chance coming up here for the Blazers. Morgan's shown some ability to put it in good places from here. This one a little bit shorter than the last.
And it more towards the top of the box. That allowed Magnificat to just kick it out of bounds to reset their defense.
Santelli quickly with the throw-in, just puts it into the corner. Castellanos pressuring. Magnificat having a difficult time clearing. We'll see if they do here. It's going to be a Hathaway throw-in, though much to the chagrin of many of the fans here in the building. Didn't like that call. But we're seeing a nice battle right now between the defensive unit of Magnificat and then these midfielders right now of Hathaway Brown.
Yeah, right when you think Magnificat's going to clear it, the midfield, get a chance, Hathaway Brown finds a way to get possession back and advance again.
Streaks fighting hard to get it out of their territory. Now Santelli gets the possession and gets it to Kennedy. Trying to make a move.
Blue Streaks, though, defense is back and set and just forces a shot on net that's wide.
So you hear Santelli probably about 8 yards wide on that shot attempt. But sometimes, you know, these athletic players, if they can put those on frame, it takes the keeper off guard, not necessarily expecting it.
No call there.
There's our guy, Tibby. Great conversation with him before the match. Had me smiling the entire time, even though I understood only 90% of what he was saying.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he says the girls, you know, they love the game right now. You know, they might be struggling a little bit, but they're having fun. They have the smiles out there, and that's all you could ask for at the moment.
And I was taking pictures from behind him during senior night, and he told each and every player that he loved them. And they're not allowed to give full hugs, I guess, so he's giving everyone a half hug. But
that's what you want in a coach, right?
You could tell that it was genuine, too. Told a lot of the parents who he knew on a first-name basis that he loved them as well. So just a big, jolly guy. And right now his team out in front looking good here on senior night. And I imagine he had a fair bit of game back in his day. As mentioned, he played professionally in his native lands. This one booted by Costos. No one really available on the left wing that time for the Blazers. As right now, Hathaway Brown really dominating the time of possession as we're 13 minutes in. I'd have to say that they've owned at least 9 or 10 of those here in the opening portion here of the second half.
And that just comes to them getting more comfortable with the ball. We've said this time and time again throughout the broadcast. It was Magnificat pretty much keeping Hathaway Brown on the defenses for the first 10 minutes, and then they got the rust off, and now they're getting into their offensive game. Kennedy, almost getting a chance there.
Yeah, Kennedy just had that just sell on her. I think obviously she had Santelli charging in from the right side, wanted to try to hook up with her. As that's a good physical play there by Costos, but it draws a whistle. Les Pisa, they're the recipient of that contact. And off the double team, the turnover there from Kennedy.
Going to be a throw-in for Hathaway Brown. They made it to the district semifinals last year before falling. Well, Magnificat, they had a high seed, but they were upset in their sectional final.
Well, certainly the Blue Streaks, they got a long history here of being one of the top girls soccer programs in this area. So being 2-3-2 is something that they are not accustomed to being at this point in the season. Though, as we talked at length about to open the broadcast, man, the schedule that both of these teams play, and certainly Magnificat, the travel that they've made up to this point and what they'll continue to make.
And that's because they have, both these squads have tough district and regional opponents.
Here in a couple of weeks, Magnificat's going to travel all the way up to Toledo to take on St. Ursula Academy. While the onslaught of games is going to continue for Hathaway Brown. They got another match on Friday against Solon and then Walsh Jesuit again on Monday. So they've gotten back into action and playing almost like a pro schedule. It's a game almost every other night for them.
At least they have the weekend off coming up to kind of recharge their batteries. They got a chance here. Kennedy down the right side gets the cross.
Diving
Deflected
save,
away.
yeah, by Ostrander, giving up the body. On the back end of that, Castellanos was waiting. So you see Bridget probably got a little bit too deep in there. Though she had on the back post, like I mentioned, Lucy was out there waiting for any type of deflection. So it was a good play made by the keeper.
And I think that's the only play she could make, because if it gets to the back end, she's going to have that whole left side of the net open for a shot.
How about the counterattack? Julia Kerr. She's been phenomenal with the foot skills here tonight.
And I think that's going to be a corner just inside the flag.
So a big change of scenery here now for Magnificat, who has basically lived in their defensive third. Now we'll get a chance here off the corner kick to set up and kind of establish themselves down in Hathaway Brown's end.
Yeah, and she's going to give her defenders a much-needed break right now for this corner.
And about a 30-second rest for everybody as, like I mentioned, everybody's been down at the far side of the field for basically the entire last 15, 18 minutes.
And what a boost in momentum for Magnificat if they can get the goal here after playing defense for the last 10 minutes.
Smith kept it really low, was able to get it to the feet of Kerr there. And then just punched out by the Blazers. Throw in made by McCabe into traffic. She'll get another crack at it here. Lobs it in. Nelson's first touch, and then she gets swarmed.
I believe that'll be a goal kick.
Good job by Mary Lux, shielding off the offensive player, allowing it to roll over the end line. And a rare substitution here for Hathaway Brown. Kaya Mendels, the sophomore, is going to get in and get a few minutes as Kennedy gets a much-needed rest. She's been doing a lot of running from her right wing position.
Give her a couple minutes and have her ready for the last 15 minutes here to possibly equalize this one.
That if Magnificat can extend the lead. Nice job of clearing there.
I believe that was Margaret Lux with the deflection with the header.
Battle's going to draw a whistle on the far side, though not the whistle that I think a lot of people expected. That's going to go against Hathaway Brown.
Maybe a handball while she was on the ground? Nonetheless, Magnificat with the free kick. And Lux once again heads it out of the way.
Yeah, making the first contact. Dever made a great run to just push that one out on the far side because you saw who was coming, Santelli. And if she was able to get her feet to that ball first, probably would have had an opportunity for a one-on-one. They send it back. Ostrander out here near side McCabe. Being patient. Delivers now to Laspiza.
That was a nice little flick there with the header.
Good teamwork, nice build. And then off the deflection.
Radke, nice play to regain possession.
I'd say she's kind of been my MVP here of the second half. Done a great job from her midfield position. Like I mentioned, a lot of the hustle plays early on in this half.
Doing the small things.
Now Kerr looking to reverse field. Streaks just can't seem to generate any type of offensive momentum. That's a great send out wide by Santelli. Schoaf now. Tried to get it into the box. You see Mary Lux, I mean, that's just something that she does well. She knows how to use her body, keep offensive players away from the ball.
But Magnificat right back at you. Offsides, though.
Yeah. Julia Kerr looked like she was about a yard or two offsides there. I like the playmaking ability by Cassidy Nelson to set that up. But you could tell right away as soon as she sent the pass that the Blazers defenders, they all kind of knew. Past the midway mark here, the second half. No score right here in the last 20 minutes of action here. Only goal of the game by Kay Lavelle.
And that came just over 17 minutes into this one, so it's actually been about 43 minutes since we've had a goal.
And I'd give most of the credit there to the defenses. Made some phenomenal plays. A bit unlucky on a couple offensive possessions, hitting some crossbars and such for both of these teams. As bodies are just flying, hitting the floor left and right. I think a whistle could have went against either side there, but Magnificat the beneficiary. So they'll have a chance for a set piece here from the football 37-yard line.
And the big thing for Magnificat here is to stay on sides.
Smith delivers. And now Kennedy, who was right back into the match, didn't get much of a break. That one ripped by Schoaf, but into the teeth of the defense. As the Streaks continue to press forward, trying to maintain possession. Great play there on the run by Costos, but didn't measure the pass very well, so another giveaway. And it's gotten a bit sloppy here over the last 45 seconds.
They just pretty much clear it down. Although it is taking time off the clock as we wind down to 16 minutes remaining.
And that's the best friend of Magnificat as the seconds continue to dwindle away. Dever just smokes that one out on the far side.
Blazers with another substitution.
They've got possession.
Nice through ball.
Ostrander
Almost
comes
got
out,
it.
makes a nice play. You saw Kennedy charging in. Took a bit of a nasty hop. Dever wasn't expecting it to go that way, it didn't look. And then Ostrander heads up play to come out of the net.
Just got there before the shot on goal.
Not a great clear.
Yeah, that was a miss hit. But luckily it comes right back to her.
Now Bullock observing the field.
Got all of that one.
Punts it to the middle.
That was some nice defense by Ella Warner. Really boxed out the Hathaway Brown midfielder.
Step over by Costas. Now Morgan kicks it out wide. Here's Alexis Everett, who just checked in. Her first minutes of the evening. Magnificat just looking to hold on here.
You know, this is a time where, any free kick, the goalie, set up the ball, take a couple extra seconds off the clock, milk it a little bit.
Magnificat had been stringing together some nice sets of passes there. As they look to reverse field, and Everett gets in the way. Santelli's been quiet as of late. Now she backtracks. Gets it to Radke, right back to her.
Molly Lespiza able to pickpocket Santelli there. And then get the call.
So a chance here for the Streaks again to get it down in their offensive attacking third. Something that's been a rarity for them here in the second half. And I wonder if some of that comes from the strategy implemented by Coach Tibby. If they're trying to lay back more and be a defensively minded unit at this point.
I mean, you have a 1-goal lead. Try and sit on that. Focus more on your defensive side. And, if you can shut them out again, it doesn't matter if you don't score in the second half. You got the 1-0 win.
McCabe on the cross. Looked like a bit of a jersey tug there. Castellanos was able to come away with it. And here she is
They
running
have numbers.
side by side with Kennedy.
Oh, nice job.
Great play by Bader.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
But now Kennedy looked like she was waiting for it to come down perfectly on her right foot. But I think that the pressure wouldn't allow her to load up as Dever was with her stride for stride.
And did you see the effort she had? Instead of allowing it to go out of bounds for the corner kick, she was able to muscle it back on the other side of the flag, so it's a throw-in.
See what kind of throw clear Radke has. She'll keep it near side. Back to her. Now with the cross. That one kept low, but outside. So Ostrander now observing for the goal kick. Back to her, looking for McCabe.
So Hathaway Brown here, just over 10 minutes left. Have a chance here.
And keeping the pressure on. They haven't generated very many good shot attempts, so like I mentioned, I think Magnificat's done a good job. They've had kind of a defensive mindset here in the second half, but they have played the bulk majority of these last 30 minutes down on their end.
So now I think it's a free kick. Abby Morgan, this is almost like a corner for them.
Except for a little bit better angle. See if she tries to just put this on net. She'll put it out wide, about 10 yards out, and well played by Magnificat.
And then the Blue Streak's able to clear it out.
Another solid defensive effort.
That'll be a goal kick.
And actually, I think that one was deflected, so it's going to be a corner coming up for the Blazers. And it's going to give Abby Morgan another opportunity. We've seen she's been pretty accurate from this spot here tonight.
Corner kick number 7 for Hathaway Brown.
They've got Margaret Lux coming in, trying to shield off the keeper. Everyone else outside of the 18. Now they come in. Lux got a head on it. Kennedy had a swipe.
But it goes wide. And once again, Magnificat dodges a bullet.
Well, it's a team allowing 1.13 goals per contest, so they've been playing some solid defense basically all year long. In 7 matches, only allowed 8 goals.
We'll have another substitution.
And at this point, yeah, I imagine a lot of these Blazers, certainly the midfielders and the 2 stud forwards for them, got to be feeling a little bit of fatigue. They do a lot of running. They're asked to do a lot for this club. And there's one of them, Santelli, drawing a whistle.
Under 8 minutes left.
Quick restart here from Magnificat. Trying to work it down the far side. Disrupts it, but they are going to maintain possession with the throw. Flick forward, trying to get Kerr to run underneath it. And they move deeper into Blazers territory.
So before the throw in right across the bridge here at Progressive Field, Indians White Sox tied at 2, bottom 8.
And that one landing just on top of the net, didn't quite have the angle for the shot. But again, for the Streaks, I mean, it just knocks a little bit more time off the clock.
Exactly, I was about to make that point, yep. You get close enough, take a chance, maybe it goes in, maybe you get a deflection, but at the most it takes 15 seconds off the clock, and like you said, the clock is their friend right now.
Laspiza thought about that one from outside. And now Nelson, pressured from behind. Tripped up, no call there. And Hathaway Brown sends it forward.
I think that was all ball.
I almost always default to the officials. I mean, like I said, they're a lot closer to the action than we are. I know that we have some cameras and some decent zoom-ins, but they get pretty good look. They get it right more often than they get it wrong. That's no question. Cure off the ricochet, and then off the turn, Laspiza didn't get much on that one, so Bullock takes the slow dribbler, and she'll send the punt here to midfield. Kennedy comes up with possession.
Got a couple nice bounces in her favor, but
Schoaf was just about 2 yards behind that one. I like the idea they had numbers. They had like a 3-on-4 if they were able to get that cross to some feet.
And it got deflected, so Hathaway Brown will retain possession.
We're starting to run out of time here. 5.5 minutes. We'll see if they start getting a bit more aggressive. Now, look, they're just playing 2 defenders back instead of their standard 3. So certainly they are aware that they're short on opportunities at this point.
And I was about to say you need to get it into Santelli's hands where that shot on the goal saved.
Yeah, she tried there. And I don't mind that one. Still plenty of time. Keep the keeper on their toes.
And she had an open shot at it, just a little too far out for her.
And
but
I think
you never
that
know.
She's also noticed, too, that, while they've developed a good portion of the offensive possession, they haven't had many good looks. So sometimes those are the only shots that you can muster
if you see
on
it,
net.
take it.
The freshman Everett wasn't able to turn with it, and now Cure on the rundown. Head-to-head with Lux, who just sends it back to the keeper. Another smart play.
That was a nice flick by Everett, the freshman, to try and advance it, but Magnificat, they recover.
And she's fresh now, too. Like I mentioned, she only checked in at about the 10-minute mark here. So she watched the first 70 minutes. She should have the effort and energy in her favor here over the last 4 minutes.
And hopefully giving that spark that they need to try and equalize it.
You see that a lot in the professional level where you're not allowed to just sub in and out. They'll save players like this, their energy and effort players. For the last
nice
few
through
minutes.
ball.
Great play. Here's Schoaf.
Oh, what a save.
Diving to make the stop again. Ostrander, who's had a heck of a senior night. Clean slate right now, along with the defense.
And watch the curve on this, too. Played it perfectly. Looking like Roberto Perez there catching those curveballs.
I thought you bent it like Beckham in this sport. No?
I'm a baseball fan. Come on.
Still Ostrander there. You saw that she was with it step for step, and she was in the exact right position that she needed to be to make that save.
And instead of just leaning for it, she dove, got her whole body in front of that in case it got deflected so it wouldn't go by her.
Quick substitution. So another fresh body checking in. It's Claire Bullock back into the match. As the clock now runs, 3:07 to go. They headed back to the middle by Radke.
Spectators, at the commencement of the game, you'll be
And Walton
asked to
took a
exit
dive there. She didn't get the call. It's been a good physical game. I like that there haven't been too many whistles. Sometimes you'll watch matches where every single time that a competitor hits the ground, they are drawing the whistle. And we know soccer players from time to time have the ability to exaggerate things a little bit.
Yeah, but, ooh. Wow, that was a
physical
shot
match,
she
my friend.
took. But, no, yeah, they're not
I don't think we've seen
exaggerating,
any
I would
flops
say. Yeah,
here
no,
tonight.
exactly,
Definitely not. Our producer watched the replay and said that last one was all ankle. But doesn't matter. That one does draw the whistle. And now the Blazers.
Time running out, though. We're at 2 minutes now, so they have to hurry things up.
Starting to get into desperation mode.
And we're looking, where's Santelli on this pitch? Because they'll be trying to get it to her.
Santelli's out there wide on the far side. Kennedy in the middle. But it's a Magnificat throw, and they're in no hurry. See Anna Smith surveying, waiting for a sub to come in. And this little strategy that a lot of coaches make when it's late on time. You've got the lead. Disrupt a little bit of the momentum, kind of change the game by making these late subs. Also getting the fresh body in there doesn't hurt.
That one out over the fence, and it's going to hit into the wall of the Great Lakes Brewing Company, which is right across the street.
Yeah, great backdrop here. This one sent by Everett, but she sent it out wide left.
We'll have another substitution.
She timed that one perfectly, though. That was a tough play. Took a low hop to her. Got a good crack at it.
And you have to think here that Hathaway Brown, they have to win this ball. With only 1:19 left, if you want to set up any type of offense, you're going to have to win this and keep it in your end. And
guess who? Claire Radke, who's got just about every 50-50 ball here in the second half. But she couldn't keep that one in play.
However, it does keep it deep in that end to where maybe a turnover, something will get them set up. But now we're at 1 minute.
Radke again gets to the ball first. This one flick forward.
Deflection and a handball, I believe. So now more time's going to run off. We're at 45 seconds.
Yeah, and look for the streaks to set this thing up, stall a little bit.
Even if I got the midfield, I'd just try and kick it as far as I can downfield.
That's right, yeah, check the grass, make sure that it's good around you, swat a few bugs. And that was about 14 seconds that ticked off there, off the setup before the initial delivery.
A bad hop for Hathaway Brown. And there it is, just boot it as far as you can downfield. Even if Hathaway Brown has a chance to throw it in, they're going to have to go get the ball.
Yeah, heady play by Julia Walton. I think that's going to do it, Trav. So Magnificat on senior night here at St. Ignatius High School, going to pull out the W,
And
get back to 500 on the year.
And you could say that that defense was magnificent.
I'll take it. I'll take the pun.
That was terrible, but I appreciate it.
All right, so that takes us to the end of 80 minutes where it's Magnificat 1, Hathaway Brown 0. We'll take a quick timeout. Got to talk to a couple of these seniors. Certainly the goal scorer tonight. We're going to have to get Lavelle up here, talk to her. And then maybe the keeper. I don't know. Ostrander
She had a
played
great,
a pretty
great
awesome
second
match.
half especially.
So let's get some post-game interviews lined up. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with some seniors. We welcome you back to the west side of Cleveland here at St. Ignatius High School, where a 1-0 winner is Magnificat, and we have got the star goalie of tonight's match, Anna Ostrander, with me right here. Just tell me, first off, about senior night and kind of the emotions and what it was like out there. You know, you get all the presents, everybody showering you with hugs and love. You know, tell me about that experience for you.
I think going into the night, I was really knowing, like, I was going to be emotional. So, like, being able to handle that while still being focused for the game was definitely challenging. But, like, during warm-up, I was, like, sobbing. So just being able to, like, channel that and, like, my love for my team and the game into the game, I think helped me perform.
And then talk to me about your leadership ability out there. Obviously, the keeper typically is the most vocal one on the back line. You're talking to your defenders a lot. I think that you did a really good job of that tonight. Just tell me about how you view yourself out on the field and what type of leader are you?
I try to listen to, like, what everyone has to say. Like, I know my center mid. Or my center back will sometimes be like, oh, like, I don't think we should push. I think that we should drop, or vice versa. So I usually let them call it, and then if I see, like, something needs to change, like, I'll step in. But usually I kind of let them play it out, and then I'll call it as I see it. Or if, like, someone needs to drop or someone's open, like, I'll just, like, remind them.
Yeah, you guys have played great defense pretty much all year. You're only averaging 1 goal allowed per contest. You just have trouble scoring so far. So how much pressure does that put on you as a defensive unit to know that you got to pretty much have a clean slate every night?
It's a lot of pressure because earlier in the season we'd let up stupid mistakes, which ultimately hurt us. But now I think we have it kind of solidified. But it's hard definitely in the final, like, 30 seconds to a minute of each game, like, knowing that we have to be solid. And usually they're in our defensive third. So it's just really, like, holding as a unit and, like, making sure we let nothing slip through. And
take me through that second half of the match where they were in your defensive third, pretty much the bulk majority of it. What was it like through your vantage point, you know, having to stay clean for that whole 40 minutes and knowing that you could get the win if you could do it?
I mainly just tried to make sure my defense was really solid and just, like, covering and shifting and pushing them wide. And then anything that I could clean up, I tried my best to get rid of. And then anything I could collect, I just tried to get it away from the goal so that nothing could, like, slip through and go in.
Well, congratulations. You played a heck of a match. We've never had Magnificat on before, so if you have anything that you want to say to Blue Streak Nation, now is your time right here.
Go Blue Streaks.
Well said. All right, we've got one of your senior buddies right here. Kay Lavelle is going to step into the spotlight now and join me. Kay, you scored the only goal of the match. First off, take me through that goal that basically gave you guys the win.
Well, I saw that Anna Smith had gotten the ball out wide, and I knew that she was going to play it across, so I was like, all right, I'm running in. This could be our only chance, and I basically just trapped in. I saw the goalie was coming out, so I just put it in the lower right corner and put it away.
Yeah, perfect placement. And then on senior night, tell me about the emotions and how challenging is it to go from all the pregame festivities and then have to mentally lock in and actually play a soccer match?
Yeah, before the game, like, you don't feel like you're about to play because you're, like, so overwhelmed with your family and friends being here. And so just before warm-ups, I was like, all right, this is it. We got to, you know, lock down because we obviously haven't been very good in the attacking third, so that's my position. And I was like, all right, this is the game where, you know, I need to make sure that we score and get up and create chances.
Given that you have struggled so much offensively, how nice was it to get the lead initially there on Hathaway Brown tonight?
It felt so good because, you know, we are struggling, and when you score and, you know, find the net, it just feels great to know that, like, you're up 1-0, but then, you know, you got to keep attacking and keep going because 1-0 lead could turn into a 1-1 game or, you know, 2-1 game, and you never know. So you got to keep attacking and keep going.
Well, you girls are certainly your battle tested. You play some of the top teams in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, you travel all around the state of Ohio, and you do find that top competition to play. How prepared do you feel like you are as we get a little bit closer to tournament time? I think that you guys probably have won 3 of your last, like, 5 matches or so. Do you feel like you're starting to play some of your best soccer?
Yeah, I feel like we're still, you know, struggling on the little things, but I think tonight we were more attacking in the offensive third, and I think that we created more chances than we have in these past couple games because, you know, we're not finding the outside or we're not finding the goal. So I felt like tonight we did a better job of, you know, finding the goal.
Well, you certainly did that. The only goal of the match, so congratulations on the
Thank you.
win. And on your night, senior night, do you have any message that you want to deliver to Streaks Nation?
Thank you for watching. Go Blue Streaks.
All right, hey, thank you so much for joining us, Kay Lavelle, the senior. We'll go ahead. I'll take your headset. I see you girls already got your shoes off, so you can go party and enjoy the night. Enjoy. Thank you. We'll welcome Travis Brady back in. We'll wrap things up here from St. Ignatius, where it was a heck of a match. Even though there weren't very many goals, there were good goal opportunities on both sides. And Division I soccer, you can tell it is just a little bit different. Pretty much everybody that steps on the field knows how to play, and the systems that both of these teams ran, they ran it pretty well. And
these teams, they keep their composure. I mean, Magnificat, first 10 minutes had pretty much control of the possession, but Hathaway Brown just really, they got the rust off. They started, counterattacking, getting onto the offensive end. And, a 1-0 game, it seems like there wasn't a lot of offense, but there was a lot of offense. I think we had about 12 corner kicks. We had about 15 shots on goal, 10 saves. It was a very quality match.
And even though 6 seniors, I know a lot of it inexperience for Magnificat, and then on the other side, just inexperience in general on this season for Hathaway Brown, who just got started about 10 days ago. So I do feel like both of these teams, when they get to tournament time, they're going to be a lot better than what we saw tonight.
Definitely, and playing 6 games in 9 days, they're going to be a little bit tired, but still they had the fight in them. They had a lot of quality chances in the end, and especially being the end of the match instead of maybe the middle when they still had some energy. But they played so many matches, and they're still fighting towards the end of the match. Shows what a resilient team this is.
All right, well, it was a heck of a night of soccer here on the west side of Cleveland, and we just are glad that you guys were able to welcome us into your living rooms, on your phones, wherever you were watching here tonight, both of your fan bases from Magnificat as well as Hathaway Brown. So appreciate you guys all tuning in. But that's going to do it for us here from Cleveland. This is Travis Berardi. My name is Brian Skoronsky. Want to give a shout-out to the crew tonight. My wife, Jory Hollenbeck, as well as Nick Jacobs on the camera, and then Adam Thompson
right
directing
us.
Everything, making us look good, as always, building all the graphics. So thank you guys all for watching live and free right here on the OH Report. We sure hope to be back in Cleveland real soon.
See ya.
So long for now.